I got my lowrider. Guess I left my pen
Do you need another one? Oh,
no, it's yeah. I have it in the room. If I run back there, I think I'll be all right.
Like everybody.
Oh, it's 5:01. That's what I got. I got a bag.
Starving.
I am. I know I am. I put cranberries in it, so the elephants came by.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I had a big lunch.
You know what? It's got. I put cranberries in it.
5 of them.
Oh my goodness.
One looks like a dog.
Is it a pug?
It's like a very coiffed dog. I don't know. He has like this cute little haircut. He's very like, he looks very regal. I don't know what he is, but he looks very regal.
I don't know what any of them
I think it's.
I don't either.
Well, one's a. I think it's
The one laying down is like a Great Dane, right?
I can't even see one laying down. Oh.
17 on it. And then there's one that's like a black.
Oh, it's oh, here was her pen. Dang it. She went back to get one. You got it? Shoot.
I'll say that.
She went to go get her pen, but I see that her pen is right here.
Yeah, they ordered a brand new alternator, so it's not a rebuilt one. It's just what they come.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, Bill.
It's a good mechanic.
We already have lost it.
Yeah. Well, we should try to get those other brakes done. Sometime.
How are you, Peggy? I'm okay. How are you today?
I'll let them.
Okay. Good.
You want to get those taken care of?
Bill's your man if you need anything. I'm a lucky woman.
Months definitely seem to be rolling by.
I just put it right there.
Don't you remember when you were young, or I always did, I used to think the summer just went by so fast.
I have a 3-page one.
And now it just seems like it goes even faster. I thought it should be the other way around.
And I think it's because the
don't
longer
know.
you live,
The wiser we get, the world gets.
the smaller the percentage of our lives each day is.
That's
So-
true.
So when you're 5, every day is
Wow.
big.
So as long as Elizabeth doesn't talk to
Now it's like,
And weeks and months are
it'd be good.
immense.
Get out of here.
And here it's like, well, we've been there, done that how many times already?
Did you? So that's why I put it on there.
hopefully I get better at it though, I hope.
Okay, good. So we'll go together. All right.
I went to, like my doctor is like, my eye
Okay,
doctor.
so that's why I did it. I said,
I have what
yeah,
can't
we could do that. Yeah, that's
So my eyes aren't doing well. And he's more worried because I got glaucoma when I was so young.
You guys are the foodies.
He knows
Yeah.
how long my grandmother
My
lived,
son.
how old my
But so, you know what,
grandmother was when
the-
she died,
yeah.
how old
Ready,
my
guys?
mom is, how old
Yeah,
my
we are.
dad was. And he's like,
we could go somewhere.
we're just hoping for great technology.
I'd like to call to order a Board of Education meeting, regular meeting for here September 5th. And if we could have a little intro from from Sandra on our interpretation, please.
Sí, buenas tardes. Si alguien necesita interpretación al español, levante la mano y les alcanzo un receptor. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Our color guard presentation tonight is by the Valley High School Air Force JROTC under the instruction of Major Byer, and West Mesa High School Navy JROTC under the instruction of Major Hendricks. And Cadet Guzman will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we could stand for the presentation and allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Juro fidelidad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Right, face, heart, heart, forward, heart.
You may be seated. I'd like a moment of silence in honor of all the APS graduates who have lost their lives while serving our country, please. Thank you. Have a roll call, please.
Peggy Mueller Aragon,
Here?
Lorenzo Garcia,
Here.
Yolanda Montoya Cordova,
Here.
Barbara Peterson,
Here.
Candelaria Patterson,
Here.
Elizabeth Armijo,
Here.
Dr. David Piercy.
Here. Go on to adoption of the September 5th, 2018 Board of Education meeting agenda and the approval of the August 15th, 2018 Board of Education meeting minutes and the August 27th, 2018 special Board of meeting minutes.
I move for approval.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We'll go on to recognition of students, staff, and community. Board Member Yolanda Monteria.
Welcome to tonight's board meeting, and thank you for coming. We would like to recognize the color guard tonight from Valley High School Air Force JROTC under the instruction of Major Bayer, and the West Mesa High School Navy JROTC under the instruction of Major Hendricks. I don't know if they're here, would the instructors and students please come to the podium and introduce themselves? Oh, there they are.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Major Gary Bayer. I'm the senior aerospace science instructor at Valley High School. And it's a real challenge, it's a real joy to be able to have a joint operations with another high school, West Mesa, to have our kids come out and demonstrate their military skills and citizenship. Thank you very much, board.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Senior Chief Nicholson. I'm the Naval Science Instructor at West Mesa High School. Major Hendricks is out there, he's monitoring the chaos. But I'm going on my 8th year, and I learn something new every year about this job, and more importantly, I learn something every day from these kids in this program. And Major Hendricks, he's starting his 21st year at this school teaching this job, and he is fully bought into these kids, and I can't thank him enough for being my partner, and we couldn't do it without your support, so thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Manuel Borjas. I'm a senior now, and I'm in the process of enlisting in the United States Navy, so after I graduate, I'll be there. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Juan Mola. This is my 3rd year in Naval JROTC at West Mesa. I am a senior. After this year, I'll be enlisted into the Navy as well. Thank you. Have a good night.
I'm Kenneth Rhodes. This is my 2nd year in the Valley High School AFJOTC. I'm currently a sophomore, and when I plan on joining the armed services when I finish high school. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jacob Candelaria from Valley High School, AFJROTC. I am a sophomore. I don't know what else to say.
Hi, my name is Diana Guzman. I am a senior. This is my 4th year doing ROTC, and I'm really glad that I actually moved schools to West Mesa.
Thank you. You guys could come forward. Everyone come up forward here so we can. Come on.
You're going to shake your hands.
Yeah.
We're honored to do that.
We lost our officers. Usually the instructors, the sponsors come up too.
Is there a PowerPoint with this?
I'd like to point out I have Valley High School colors on tonight, so.
our next recognition will be a short presentation by Petty Officer McDaniel and his Sea Perch team from Garfield Middle School, and Master Sergeant Cogburn and his Sea Perch team from Wilson Middle School. The teams will share briefly about their trip to the University of Massachusetts in Dartmouth for Sea Perch Nationals. Will the presenters please come to the podium?
Good evening. My name is Petty Officer McDaniel. I'm the leadership instructor at Garfield Middle School, and I want to thank you guys for allowing us the time to come up here and talk to you about what we do at the middle school level with the Sea Perch. I'd like to introduce you to Nick Cummings, who is my Sea Perch lead captain and went with us to Boston to compete at the national level. Nick?
So good evening. As he said, my name is Nick, and I was a part of the ROTC Garfield, or the Garfield ROTC for Sea Perch. For the national Sea Perch level, we actually were monitored a lot more than we were at West Mesa, and the inspections were actually more in-depth and were very thorough to make sure that you qualified for everything that you said that you had. And you had two challenges. One was the hula hoop course, and the other was the relocation task. And the third was the engineering notebook that you had to complete to get extra credit, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Hello, I am Master Sergeant Charles Cogburn. I'm the leadership instructor at Wilson Middle School, and I would like to introduce my two successful cadets that participated at nationals. Cadet Carlos Lopez Hernandez. He is an 8th grade student at Wilson this year. And our 9th grader, she went on to Albuquerque High. She's actually missing a ball game. She's cheerleader, so I hope she doesn't get in trouble. So this is Gabrielle Valdez Lozoya.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Lopez, and I went to the National Sea Perch Challenge, where I went and competed with other high schools that had won the state championship, and I'm with my team, with Gabby here, and with DeVaris Riley, and it was a good trip. We had a lot of good times, and I learned a lot from that trip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Valdez. I was part of the Sea Perch team when we went to Boston. It was an amazing experience. I learned a lot. We learned a lot about things I didn't know about the Sea Perch and stuff that helped me more into ROTC this year. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Any questions?
So we'd just like for students to come forward to.
Oh, that's two.
You too.
We didn't really do any work. Well, yeah, you did. You sponsored them. Yeah, they wouldn't be here.
I guarantee you did some of the work.
Awesome. Well, good of you. So are you doing ROTC again? Thank you so much for
Thank you.
your work. Really appreciate it. Good job. Exciting stuff out there.
In the country. Here, quite a top.
Worth it.
I don't know. I'll let you say it. So these young men are being shy. I just want to let you know they got first place in New Mexico and 52nd place at nationals out of 750 schools. So they did amazing.
Oh, thank you. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next recognition will be introduced by Todd Torgerson, Chief of Human Resources and Legal Support Services.
Good evening, Dr. Piercy and members of the board. Tonight I have the great honor, actually, and I'm pretty excited about it. I brought my own doggy treats, too. So just don't tell my lab that I stole them from Rooney, my Labrador. But tonight we have the great honor of recognizing several extraordinary two-legged and four-legged extraordinary volunteers. Southwest Canine Corporation volunteers work in partnership with Animal Protection of New Mexico to provide canine education programs in our K-12 education program. The Animal Protection of New Mexico teachers are both retired APS teachers. Cindy Wasak, she's formerly a special education teacher, and Sherry Mangold, formerly El Dorado High School English and theater teacher. Registered therapy dogs from Southwest Canine Corp volunteers assist with regular presentations. Mike Sallow and Dolores Chamberlain, two handlers who frequently work with these animals in the classroom. We appreciate that very much. The presence of therapy dogs in the classroom is the icing on the cake for our students as they get to interact and practice their weekly learned skills one-on-one with the therapy dogs. So this is very exciting stuff. A sampling of presentations that they do include care and responsibility, loose dog and bite safety, where they all get to participate safely, of course, says the risk manager. Careers in welfare and health, which is really good. Members of Southwest Canine Corp volunteers provide Read the Dog sessions in many elementary schools and public libraries. They also have teams. I know, I need to go a little slower. Is that why? They also have teams visiting regularly with special education students at West Mesa High School. In addition, the dogs also play an active role in literacy nights and health fairs. Several of the human and canine volunteers were able to join us today, as you can see. And like I said, we've already made the rounds and we're pretty excited about all of this. So Sherry Mangold, if you could, please come on up to the podium. Sherry Mangold with Rizo rescued Galgo. She's a Spanish Greyhound. Very cute. And we have Cindy Wasek with Xena, the warrior treat princess that she mentioned. She's a rescued Chihuahua. We have Mike Sallow with Dennis, who's a man after my heart as a lab owner, with a rescued black lab. And Dolores Chamberlain with Pretzel, who is a Brussels Griffon. And she has a great story, actually, about Star Wars and the resemblance of this beautiful breed with Chewbacca. So with that, I want to thank you all for your excellent service here with Albuquerque Public Schools and the students and support of the students and staff. Thank you oh so very much. And with that, we'll let you make the rounds. Come on, let's go, let's go. Oh, we're going to go. Yeah, let's go around.
Need 'em?
I had to go back because normally I use
I have special shorts.
Thank you.
I don't put my string cheese in the clothes that I wear here. I do put them in other stuff.
Thank you. Oh, no, you're good.
Look what I'm bringing home today.
Of course. People,
I mean, it's just like kids, older
I know.
adults, it doesn't matter. We all love a dog.
Yeah, you got your therapy? Therapy with the dog?
Yeah. Yo creo que sí. That's cute, though. I'm happy to see them. That's so sweet. All right. Guess we could move on. What do you think? Huh?
Yeah.
I got it. I think I did.
I might mention, too, that Board Member Muller-Aragon just got herself a new little puppy.
Isn't she cute?
And she is really cute. I got the opportunity to see her little puppy. So between her and Board Member Peterson, who has a Lily, who is a training race dog, and I have a 12-year-old Bella, a Labradoodle, and I'm sure others have things. We're kind of a dog group, so yeah, appreciate that.
Have a dog day.
Yeah.
Dog day afternoon.
Dog day.
Dog day.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's cute.
Mine would not behave. All right. So our next recognition this evening will be introduced by Shannon Barnhill, Executive Director of the APS Education Foundation. Hi, Shannon.
Thank you, Board President Piercy and Superintendent Reedy and board members. It's always an honor to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I just wanted to let you know that we are really excited to be here to just recognize a loyal and devoted sponsor and supporter whose service to the community is not only a commitment, it's their passion. The donor is deeply invested in the community they serve, and we are very pleased to announce that our B&D Industries partnership has enabled the foundation to increase support. And just seeing all of those wonderful sea perch and those projects that those kids did out there, I have to thank B&D personally, because it's their support that gives the foundation the opportunity to fund those programs. So thank you. I wanted to just mention a little bit about the grant programs that the foundation is able to support other than those wonderful projects out there. These innovative projects that the foundation gets to support through B&D's 6 years of support of our Superintendent's Cup. That's 6 years at $10,000. Thank you so much. I get getting emotional because I get to see the kids and then I get to relate you all to that, so that's wonderful. We have truly benefited from the generosity of B&D Industries, and they hold a special role in the continued success of our students, our teachers, our schools, and our departments. Thank you, B&D Industries, for your strong belief in the APS education and having such an impact on thousands of students and teachers and schools. I would like to quickly invite Clinton Beal, the Senior Vice President of B&D Industries, and Katie Sandoval, the Marketing Department Marketing Manager. You do so much more than marketing. If I could ask them to join me quickly, I want to just let you know how grateful we are for you to be part of our APS community. I want to say that this is like a double duty kind of recognition, so go ahead and come up.
Stand up.
Because not only do they support us on a regular basis, this is kind of a second recognition. We just had our Superintendent's Cup in July, and I look around this room and I want to say thank you to so many people who participated and helped with that tournament. We had the associate superintendents out there doing their Winter Wonderland, Let It Go, Frozen, treats that they gave to all of our golfers, which were fabulous. Raquel was out there shaking hands and kissing babies for both floats. We were kind of like our own float, weren't we, in our own golf cart. I just want to say thank you to those of you who came. Dr. Pierce, you were there also shaking hands and kissing babies, so we really appreciate that. But I also get to recognize B&D because they were also the winning team of the entire tournament. So these golf ringers were Clinton Beal, Craig Chiato, Ron Allen, and our very own golf tournament chair, John DeFay. We want to take this time to recognize them. And Raquel, may I ask the superintendent, yes, to come and present the Superintendent Cup trophy.
It's reappeared.
You're Raquel. Beautiful.
I didn't play.
You ready?
I thought
Didn't play, huh?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Couldn't put champagne in it.
I know. You'll be right. Maybe later.
Did you want to say anything?
Sure, please. I'd first like to acknowledge your efforts and, of course, the efforts of Lauren and John in getting the event together. If you guys haven't been to the Superintendent's Cup, I'd strongly recommend you do. It gets better and better every year. It's a really fun day, and they do a great job with it. And at the end, it's so fun for us to see the end result of what those funds are doing. So when I was walking around that lobby, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be involved, and every time that we're invited or involved in any APS event or the APS Foundation, we're obliged and honored to do so. And it's just really great to see what it does. So thank you very much for having us and for the recognition.
If the students were in here, we were going to let Clinton do a shameless plug for B&D and do some recruitment for electricians. So if you want to pass that along to those students, that B&D is here for them for employment later.
Absolutely.
So, all right, well, come on up.
I noticed that the associates got up and took pictures of all the kids, but they don't come and take a picture of this.
I think it's time for you
Lauren
to shake
got
hands.
one.
Oh, is that?
Sorry, Grace, you guys.
I was going to take a picture and I didn't get to it.
Thank you so much.
It seems to always be the case that the women.
Exactly, I agree.
Congratulations.
We would be remiss if we did not acknowledge that John DeFay also won an award for the most obnoxious outfit. And he's kind of wearing a little bit of that today, if you all would just look at his socks.
Now I have to check out socks.
Take a picture.
I'm the Jim Fury. That's right. Katie was the captain's pick. Awesome. Thanks, Lauren.
All right, that concludes.
No sign of
There you go. So we're moving on to where that concludes our recognitions, and now we're going to move on to public forum. Whether you're here with a request for the Board of Education to consider, provide information, or just to see how the Board of Education operates, we want you to know that you are welcome. The Board of Education has established rules for expected civil behavior during the meeting and public forum. And upon signing in to speak tonight, you received a signature form and copy of the procedural directive, which outline those rules for expected behavior. The presiding officer will enforce these rules as appropriate throughout the meeting. Tonight, there are 3 speakers. Therefore, to accommodate the speakers, each speaker has 2 minutes for comments within 30-minute public time. The time remaining to speak will appear on the screen in front of you. You may not yield your unused time to another speaker. You are always welcome to submit additional comments to the board in writing if you're unable to convey your message or you're not able to speak within the 30-minute public forum. Board of Education encourages you to stay for the entirety of the meeting so you may listen to board member comments before adjourn, and only at this time may your comments be addressed at the discretion of each board member. So our first speaker is Franklin Ghana.
President Piercy, members of the board, tonight I'm not here to yell at you. Yay! But I am here to thank Board Member Peterson for attending the Labor Day event at Tigway Park. Labor Day and supporting unions are extremely important, especially now in these crazy political times. As a public official, it's really hard to be a normal person. Board Member Peterson has done that time and time again. 35 years in the system isn't easy. I'm actually glad I was never one of her students. Not because she's not a good teacher, but because we would have had really interesting political discussions, and I probably would have lost, which is really, really sad. The intelligence and commitment to the teacher union and EA union is amazing, and I know I yell at her and all of you a lot, but I wouldn't do that if I didn't think that you were great leaders. And also, since I still have time, a special thank you to Ellen Bernstein for all of her commitment as the teacher union president, and also Kathy Chavez, who trained me and is probably on many occasions, very sad that she did so well. Thanks for your leadership. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Janet Sayers.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Madam Superintendent. And I thought we were each going to get 10 minutes. Split the, well, anyway, okay. So I have given Megan copies of the invitation for each of you to come to the kickoff celebration at Hodgen Elementary School on Saturday, September 22nd. Hodgen is starting its 60th year. And yes, I was there in 1958 as a 10-year-old fifth grader and had an inspirational teacher, Eugene Carl, who really set me on kind of the road to lifelong learning. So we hope to do things all year at Hodgen to do some fundraising for field trip buses, books, materials for teachers, teacher appreciation projects. But I know you have busy weekends, but everyone is invited to come out that day. And I enjoy coming to board meetings because I met a Del Norte graduate tonight, and I've latched onto him already. Mr. McDaniel, that was here with the Garfield group, is a 1980 graduate of Del Norte, so he'll be hearing from me. And meeting these dogs, oh my gosh, this was like the highlight of my day. Those dogs were just too wonderful. And two quick things. At the Hodgen celebration, the son of Mrs. Tony Angel, who was the first principal of Hodgen from 1958 to 1978, he's coming from Texas to be part of that. And a woman named Judy Nickel, who was a columnist for the Albuquerque Tribune, who in 1956 was at the board meeting when the Hodgen was created as a barrack school, and Judy will be attending as kind of our living link to 1956 when Hodgen was created. And anyway, and go Del Norte Knights. That's all I'm going to say.
And our final speaker tonight is Esperanza Baca.
You'll all have to excuse me. This is my first time ever doing this, and I'm really emotional. My question is, or that I like to say, is I'm from the South Valley. We're a Title I school. Our school has been based on community involvement. We are currently feel like we're not a community, and we're being pushed out. Not only with our children in the classroom, but just as a community, as organizations have left our school. We feel that we're being harassed. We have had over 30 teachers leave our school in 1 year. These are teachers that we grew up with, remarkable teachers. We have had over hundreds of children, parents disenrolling their kids. And I feel that this is a crisis in the South Valley because we are a community and this is a community school and we're all there to look out for the best interest of our children. And we feel that that's not being done. I don't know, I've never been to this, so I don't know if any of you are aware of what's going on down there.
What school? Just
Adobe Acres.
Thank you.
Where we also, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but a lot of the parents feel that they're being harassed and pushed out, being bullied because of the statue of one of the staff's husband is in a political office. He is mentioned on a daily basis. Brought up in simple parent conversation. He showed up at our school. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wish that if you guys can look into this and you guys can see what's going on. We're generations of community involvement that has just been almost completely destroyed down there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. That concludes the public forum tonight.
Thank you. We'll go on to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, President Piercy, members of the board, community members, and staff. As required by the State Department of Education, PARCC test scores are being sent home to students who were in the 3rd through 11th grade and took the PARCC test last spring, so the results are going home. Parents who have access also have access to a comprehensive guide on aps.edu to help explain the individual students' reports. And in addition to the guide, there are other PARCC resources on aps.edu for parents, including a test guide put together by greatschools.org that gives information about the literacy and math skills tested for each grade. The Education Foundation is accepting nominations for the 11th class of Selfless Seniors. One high school senior will be chosen from each of the 13 traditional APS high schools, and one senior will be chosen to represent the APS magnet schools. Nominations are due October 19th. And if you know of a senior who should be nominated, please let his or her principal know or nominate them yourself. The form is on our website, aps.edu. And that concludes my report. Nice and short, wouldn't you say? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to the special issues. We have a long list of what I call board operating policies, and we should be able to get through most of these fairly quickly, but we will take a look at that, and we have presenters being, well, a lot of people, but Brenda is our Executive Director of Board Services, and of course Heather Dahl, the Policy Analyst for our Board Education Services Office. So
So, President Piercy, members of the board, Superintendent Reedy, tonight you are reviewing all but 2 of the policies in Section B, which is the Board of Education Governance and Operations. We have pulled 2 of the policies for you to discuss with the corresponding procedural directives at the upcoming Policy and Instruction Committee on September 12th, and those 2 are BD1, Board of Education Committees, and BE4, Public Participation at Board of Education Meetings. And since action is needed on each of these policies before you tonight, Heather Dahl, our policy analyst, will review each of the policies briefly with you.
Thank you, President Piercy, board members, and Superintendent Reedy. We have 18 items of review on your board policy. The first one you'll see is BBA, or BA, sorry, Board of Education Goal. And on this one, the revised suggestion is just to update the board policy cross-reference.
Any comments from the board?
Dr. Piercy, is there any way that we could, on where it says all students succeed, that we can say that our students succeed? Because we always say they're our students. I think that's an important thing to put in there. That's just my opinion on that one. So,
Or we could say all APS students?
if you want to do it that way, or our students,
Of course,
I just think our
it is
is.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like our.
I like it.
I like it.
Board members like that?
Yes.
So with that minor revision, saying that our students,
Succeed.
you say all our students?
No, just that our students.
Our students
Our
succeed?
students succeed.
Okay. That sound good, everybody?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay, with that change and the changes they've already had in there, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. The second item is Board Policy BB, Board of Education Legal Status. On this policy review, we updated the legal cross-references, the board policy cross-reference, and the procedural directive cross-reference. So those are the only revisions made to this one. So we seek your approval on that.
Any comments from board
I
members?
mean, the only thing that I would just like, I mean, I think it's all fine and it's things that we say that, you know, we should do. But sometimes when it comes to knowing what all our federal statutes and regulations, et cetera, are, that sometimes I think that we need a little bit of an update on what some, especially some of the big ones, what some of the big ones are, that maybe our attorney can kind of let us know when we're talking about ESSA. That is really important. That is our nation's law on education. But yet, when I was trying to read over it, I mean, it's really detailed. So do we really know everything about it that we need to know? So I think when there's anything big like that, I think it's important for us to be updated on it. So that's my only hope, my only wish.
Okay. ESSA is, of course, not in the same realm as the legal statute. It is not a statute.
Or regulation.
Or regulation even. But I think your point being, even the regulations themselves, as well as ESSA, it'd be good to have some updates on some of those. Maybe that's something for our policy committee to look into, say, have an update on all the legal things and things that might be of interest to board members. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what's out there is that they say that ESSA is the nation's law on education. So we need to kind of know, what is that not true? Like, why do they put it out there? I think that it's important for us to know. So however, if we could get updated or policy or committee or something, I think that would be good. And that's not the only one, of course.
No, of course, yeah. I think there are a lot of
the
other
only
things
one.
in there that might be
There are other state things that come up that, you know, maybe after the legislature that we just need to know a little bit more about.
Sure. No, I think that's a good idea. I don't think it changes this directly here, but I think, again, that's a good suggestion for probably our policy, because that's where we would look at the regulations and the policies and so forth.
And then probably the question is it something that we want written down in a procedural directive, or is it something that we just need to make sure happens?
Well, that's the question. I think the question is, how do we reference it? Do we reference it? Where do we reference it? How do we, is it a legal thing? How legal is it from the point of view of statutes
I
and
think when we go, we go to conferences, but all of us don't always get to go. So we may have gone to one about an ESSA update, but everybody didn't get to go. So it's not fair if one of us goes and then somebody else doesn't hear what we hear. And I think it's important for us to know about important things.
Sure, and we've had some updates on ESSA, kind of, in general, in the past. But I think, again, you're kind of asking from the point of view, how does it really apply? And also, I've also always been interested in the Fed versus the state versus us local. In other words, what are the relationships that we really need to have? And I think sometimes we can look at the federal and think, well, that's a little different interpretation here than the state's having it, and maybe we have a local interpretation that may be a little different, and so how does that all work together?
Right. And what, what trumps what? Does that trump that? Is this, I mean, I think we have to know that. I think we as a board need to be informed about anything to do with education that affects our kids, so.
Sure, and where are the kind of the range of interpretations in that? And I'm sure there are a lot, because, you don't get something from the federal government without having a kind of a range of interpretation, probably. So that's good. I think it's a good idea. So let's take that as maybe an action item for us to take a look at. In fact, it maybe wouldn't even be a bad idea to have a retreat where we really talk about all of those kind of things. That's another thing that might be useful, but, okay. We'll look into that. Thank you, Peggy. Any other comments?
No, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 3 is BB1, Board Member Authority. On this board policy, we again just updated the procedural directive cross-references to make sure that they were referencing active procedural directives.
Any
That we seek approval.
the comments from the board members?
No.
Anybody?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you. Go on to the next one.
Thank you. On the 4th item, BB2, board membership. We again updated just the one procedural directive cross-reference, and with that, we seek your approval.
Any comments, board members?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5 is BB3, the superintendent's evaluation. On this one, we updated the procedural directive cross-reference to point to the procedural directive for the superintendent evaluation. With that, we seek your approval.
I'd move for approval.
Second?
We've got a motion second. Any discussion at all? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. The 6th item is Board Policy BC, Board Member Conduct and Conflicts of Interest. On this procedural directive, we had 2 grammatical fixes, as well as board policy cross-reference updating and procedural directive cross-reference updates. With that, I seek your approval.
Any comments from board members?
I move for approval.
We have a s-
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. For item number 7, it's Board Policy BD, Board of Education Organization. And with this one, we changed the date of the organizational meeting to be in January rather than March, based on the new election time, and we updated the procedural directive cross-references. With that, we seek your approval.
Move for
Okay.
approval.
The second, just one question. Is there any need to reference where we get the information that January is the timeframe? Do we have it here?
A legal reference, we can add that.
I just wonder, we didn't have it for March, either,
Okay.
But I just wondered if it'd be useful to have a reference so that people wonder why you have it in January.
We can add that in a legal
Yeah,
cross-reference.
I don't know that HB 98 is what we reference, but, you know, something.
Okay.
Because we will have more discussions on that and the procedure and the logistics of it and so forth. It's kind of awkward sometimes, but for this particular, you know, policy, yeah, that's January. We're going to do that in January.
Okay.
And just for the board, you know, we mentioned this in the retreat, but we'll have this January. We will do this in this January to see how it works, see how we operate that. We'll take a shot at it, right? Okay. So we've had a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 is BD2, Board Policy Audit Committee. This one, we updated the administrative position, the legal cross-reference, the board policy cross-reference, and procedural directive cross-reference. With that, we seek your approval.
I'd move for approval.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9 is Board Policy BE, Board of Education meetings. For this particular item, one small grammatical update that you'll note, a legal cross-reference update, board policy cross-reference update, and procedural directive cross-reference update.
I move for approval.
Second?
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion at all?
I just have a question, Dr. Piercy. This just had popped up in my mind when I was looking over this earlier today. When we're saying we will not conduct a vote by secret ballot, I just want to know, and nobody could answer this for me today, when we use consensus in executive session, that is not considered anywhere a vote, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that I was thinking about it, I was like, well, what does that mean when we have consensus? So I just want to make sure that that is the case.
Right.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
exactly right. Any other comment? Did we have a motion and a second? I didn't catch it.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Megan's
You did.
nodding.
Meg is nodding, okay. She's over here trying to figure out who's saying one thing and another, okay?
Okay.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 10 is Board Policy BE1, Board of Education meeting agendas. For this board policy, we updated the legal cross-reference, the procedural directive cross-reference, and the forms. With that, we seek your approval.
Any comments?
I'd move for approval.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 11 is Board Policy BE2, Rules of Order. On this one, we updated the text of the first paragraph to properly identify Robert's Rules of Order as a title, newly revised, and that it be the basis of how the Board of Education conducts meetings, to clarify. And then we updated the procedural directive cross-reference. With that, we seek your approval.
We talked about this in our retreat.
And I know we talked kind of about how to say this where it made, and I don't know that it came out kind of with any of the suggestions. It didn't look like it to me, but I didn't write it down. But I thought that we had said, use something that I know Lorenzo had suggested, and I thought but I didn't write it down, so I was trying to remember. I know he used generally, but I don't remember exactly how it came out. But I thought Robert's Rules of Order shall generally be the basis for conducting our Board of Education meetings. I didn't write it down, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think what I said at some point in time was that it shall be the basis for how the Board of Education will conduct meetings. Now, if you want to add generally the basis, that's okay with me too. In other words, I think the idea is that, yeah, we want to be pretty reasonable about how we're operating things, but we don't want to be just totally sticklers about every little detail, because then we won't get anything done, because everybody will wonder what's going on. And I think we do that pretty well. But, you know, again, if we have a procedural issue, we need to bring it up. But, so
do you think if we say?
So it has
I was
changed.
kind of playing with, you know, just the wording a little bit.
Okay.
Shall generally be the basis for conducting our Board of Education meetings, so we kind of don't make it as wordy.
So Right.
Shall
generally
is
be
that
the
what you said,
basis. Yeah.
Member Garcia, right?
I would say generally before shall, because that
Generally
more
shall be the
describes what
basis.
we do.
Yeah.
Shall be the
Generally
general
shall be
basis?
the
Generally shall be.
basis
Yeah.
for conducting our Board of Education meetings?
I would just say the basis of Board of Education meetings.
But we need conducting or
Well, I
running
think-
in there,
I think
though,
conducting is the issue.
right?
Sure, if you want it in there.
But- I mean, what do you think, Heather? How you think it would sound? Shall
I
be,
think
generally shall be the
general
basis?
basis might be grammatically a little bit nicer, but.
And then
shall
what do you
be the
think
general
about for
basis.
conducting or?
Just because then you can have the general a little bit closer to the basis.
And then what after that? Do you think you move?
That's all I would add. Shall be the general basis of how the Board of Education will conduct meetings.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
That's fine.
Does that sound okay? Any other comments from board members? Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
I sound covered in it, yeah. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding.
Okay, so with what you have here, we're going to add the word general, shall be the general basis, right? So that's the idea, okay? With that change and with the additions that have been already indicated, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second? And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay.
Well, you know what, you already know what I think about all the different ways, rules of order, so.
Okay, we'll go on.
Thank you. President Piercy, board members. The next one is Board Policy BE3, Board of Education meeting minutes. For this one, we updated only the legal cross-reference and a procedural directive cross-reference. So with that, we seek your approval.
Any comments?
None.
I'd move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 13, it's Board Policy BG, Board of Education Policy Development, Adoption, Revision, and Revocation. On this one, we added a phrase in the second paragraph, and we updated the board policy cross-reference and the forms.
Any comments from the board members?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 14, which is Board Policy BG1, Emergency Administration, Temporary Suspension of Policies and Procedural Directives. For this one, I guess we just reviewed it. We didn't have any changes or anything that we need to do. We just made sure we reviewed it.
Yeah, there's nothing noted.
I move for approval.
Any thoughts? Okay, and do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on that?
Thank you for reviewing it, though.
We give you some authority here. But there's a lot of follow-up that happens when you have such an emergency meeting and policy suspended. So I just let you know that there's, whether you want to do that or not, there's a lot of additional things that have to be done, so.
Well, my hope is that this page will be covered with spider webs and.
Yeah, you don't ever have to do this. That's absolutely the hope, right?
So do we approve the review of this?
Yes, thank you.
Well, we haven't yet. I haven't.
I mean, so we approve review though, right? There's no changes to it.
We've had a motion and a second to approve the fact that we've added reviewed September 5th.
Oh, okay.
So that you can.
2018.
That you revisit it, that you want it to still be an active policy.
And we followed Robert's rules in order to do that.
There we go.
Generally
Yeah,
speaking.
generally. So I think we've had a motion and a second on this.
Yep.
Right, Megan? So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 15 is Board Policy BH, Board of Education Communication. For this one, we updated the procedural directive cross-reference. So with that, we seek your approval.
Dr. Pierce, I just have I'm just confused about the second paragraph. The first paragraph is talking about us being open and transparent with the public through our communication. So we need to make sure that we all have access to the same communications in order for us to be able to do that, one. But then the second part is talking about forging relationships in non-district organizations. So can you tell me how those kind of go together?
Well, I think they're part of communication in general. In other words, the idea being, what do we do as part of that communication mechanism? In other words, how do we communicate with the public is kind of the question, I guess.
There's.
I just don't see that they both have, the first one, I get it. The second one, I get it. I just don't know that I get it to be there. That's all.
The question is whether it needs to be there or not. It's probably the question to some extent, because we've really stated that already in the public aspect.
And I don't know what everybody else
Are we asking
thinks.
for a policy directive to forge relationships? That's what I don't get.
Now, we can always do that.
Yeah, we could do that without a policy directive.
Sometimes we restate things. Sometimes we, amplify things just to make it clear that we do intend to do these things.
Maybe put it in writing then, maybe.
I mean, that was kind of the idea, I think, there. But do we have any kind of a thought across the board here? Or
I just don't know if it would go better somewhere else, and you might know, Heather, from looking at it, that second paragraph might go better, second sentence, whatever, might go better somewhere else. When you're talking about organizations, or adding, if you want to add something about communication in that second, I don't know.
Is it part of the directive side of it, as opposed to the policy?
Board Member Mueller-Ergon, President Piercy, my opinion on this one is what allows you to participate in nonprofit organizations like Mission Graduate or United Way. It's also maybe how you participate with the New Mexico School Board Association, and then or the pre-K program that we attended a couple weeks ago. So it gives you an opportunity to forge relationships outside of the district, and to represent the Board of Education in those meetings and activities. But if you want to revisit those things in procedural directive, I think that's where it would be better to lay it out.
I would just take the second part out and then just.
what procedural directive would that kind of thing go into?
We have it. Yeah. It's on the September 12th agenda.
No, I'm just saying, which one do we think
I
it might
don't
go?
know which one it is offhand, but we have it.
Do we have one that would work that?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, we
it's
have lots of
cross-reference to
procedural
the
directives
legal
that-
status and responsibilities of the Board of Education. That's our procedural directive cross-reference. So we'd have to.
Yeah, well, that one doesn't work.
And Board of Education members, yeah, they're two separate ones. So
I don't think either one of those work. Because they're not talking about us communicating with organizations, they're talking about organizational, legal responsibilities, which is straight out of the statute, first of all. And the other part is just our members, so I think it would have to be a different one.
To get us through this piece, though, I'm with Peggy in reference to deleting that second paragraph.
Okay.
And finding where it should go, but.
It should go somewhere, it's just where should it go? I don't know, so.
Does that sound okay with the other bit? I mean, I don't.
I'm willing to go along with what y'all have said. I am concerned, though. I think that if we stop looking outward and end up, there's all kinds of groups forming all the time, and some have opinions that I may agree with, others that I might not. But the important thing would be for me as a member of the Board of Education to begin to build relationships with these folks, to actually look for opportunities to communicate, hear what they have to say, and address issues as they come up, because there are many groups out there that we have no clue what they're about. And I think that part of my responsibility as a community member and as a leader in the community on this board, I should be available and open to those meetings. Doesn't mean I have to go to meetings every night of the week, but I do think that when the occasion arises, it makes sense to go ahead and go, be they organized labor or other business leaders. I'd be happy to do that.
So should it read, the Board of Education shall strive to be open and transparent with the public through systematic communication and through forging relationships with non-district organizations, period? And then it goes into complying with confidentiality requirements?
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is if it stays in here, there needs to be something that ties it. Are we forging relationships in order to make something happen? Because when we forge relationships with, say, Mission Graduate, it's to make something happen. Or are we looking at forging the relationships just to communicate what's happening in the district as representative of the district to those organizations?
But our
So I
goal
think,
is to be open and
right. So since that's the topic for this policy, I like what Elizabeth said. I think it ties it together. It makes sense why it's in here at all. And then if we need to do, the participation committees and other stuff, there are other places in policy that talk about action.
Okay, let me read the sentence, and then I recommend that we take this one to the September 12th meeting, and I'll update the procedural directive cross-reference. But the first sentence would read, the Board of Education shall strive to be open and transparent with the public through systematic communication and participation in non-district organizations.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to add the word like meetings or by participating in non-district organizational meetings or
Organizational meetings.
and events or.
Well, I just think non-district organizations is fine, because that implies lots of things, you know. It could be events, it could be meetings, it could be,
Functions.
it could be functions, it could be neighborhoods, it could be whatever.
So,
Well, the example that comes to mind for me is the Latino Education Task Force. 9 years ago, it didn't exist. And a few of us got together and decided that maybe we should look at the Constitution and check out whether or not sufficient and adequate funding was actually being followed. Or could we find some leverage to say, hey, it's not happening. Well, guess what? They organized, they got with MALDEF, they got with the Center on Law and Poverty, and they actually began to raise these issues in a systematic way that maybe will have some constructive impact on our ability to do the things that we need to do. I just think it just behooves us to begin to do it. The other example is the Men of Color initiative, and Dr. Piercy forced the issue at the Council of Great City Schools that Latino young men would be included, that it wasn't just about black men, but it was all these global majority men who were challenged systematically by the education systems throughout the nation, that we needed to have a relationship through those folks. I think Dr. Maestas went off to a celebration at the White House and other things. So I just think that we have to say, this is part of our role. And sometimes it's I guess, finding a new path to try to move education forward. That's how I see it.
And Barbara and I apologize, but we are kind of talking about how we think we don't have relationships, forging relationships in there, and we always say how important that is. So to add to what Member Armijo was saying, if we say something like, the Board of Education shall strive to be open and transparent with the public through systematic communications, through the forging of relationships, and through the participation in non-district organizations. That way we kind of have all of that in there.
Mm-hmm. I like that, yeah.
Does that sound like we put in what was in that second paragraph?
Kind of wordy.
So could you word that?
Kind of wordy.
So Heather, do you
Because we're
have,
trying
a
to
wo-
take
you have a
what's in
wording?
there.
I have the,
and put it up
the
here.
wording that you suggested. The Board of Education shall strive to be open and transparent with the public through systematic communication, the forging of relationships, and participation in non-district organizations.
I mean, I don't know how that sounds to everybody, if that includes what we feel.
I think I would say through forging relationships with and participating in non-district organizations.
I think, yeah, the forging of relationships in the original sentence was a direct connection to the non-district organizations, not just relationships in general. So,
Well, I think you're forging relationships with and participating in non-district organizations, just to be reasonably English correct.
okay.
We don't forge relationships in, usually. Usually.
Was that one time?
One, okay, we won't go there.
We're not gonna go there.
With that change, I'll make a motion.
Second?
So we now have, would you read that one more time?
Yeah.
Oh. The whole sentence. The Board of Education shall strive to be open and transparent with the public through systematic communication, through the forging of relationships. I didn't get that whole sentence. Through the forging of relationships with participation in district organizations. And the second sentence remains, the Board of Education shall comply with confidentiality requirements in federal or state statute or regulations and any confidentiality agreement.
And we're removing the other paragraph.
And we're removing the second paragraph.
Okay, so that's what we're voting on. Okay, if we had a motion and a second? We have had, Megan says. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 16 is Board Policy BH1, Board of Education Electronic Communication. On this one, we had some minor typos to fix or grammatical errors. We updated the administrative position that oversees this policy. And with that, we seek your approval.
Any comments from the board members? Other than strong encouragement to be careful with your own private stuff.
I move for approval.
No, I think we've had a motion right here.
For approval.
She had a motion, you have a second?
Oh, second, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 17, Board Policy BI, Board of Education and Member Services. With this one, we added to the text of the first paragraph that reads, Albuquerque Public Schools shall provide elected Board of Education members, including those members with disabilities, with reasonable services and accommodation for district and Board of Education business. And we updated the legal cross-reference to match that phrase and updated board policy cross-reference and procedural directive cross-reference. With that, we seek your approval.
So that covers all the ADA?
Is that in compliance with ADA?
Yeah, that's the legal cross-reference.
That's what I'm
Title
asking.
II of the Americans with Disabilities.
Make sure that that covers all of ADA,
Is it?
the issues. Okay, just want to make sure.
Is that, Member Patterson, that's what you,
Yeah,
that's what
I
you
was-
wanted in there? And I just didn't see ADA up, I saw it down in the legal cross-reference, I just didn't see it up top, and I just wanted to make sure that that was what you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. I move for approval.
Do I have a second? Okay, it's been motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you.
And your final item, number 18, is Board Policy BI1, Board of Education per diem and mileage. With this, we updated, again, some minor grammatical changes in the text, and that was the extent of the revisions. So with that, we seek your approval.
I move for approval. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion at all? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
So we'll go on to the approval of the consent calendar items. That's item number 7. Do I have a motion for approval?
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you. And we'll go on to board member comments. I'll start with board member Muller-Aragon.
So just want to make sure that Esperanza is taken care of. I'm sure that superintendent will make sure that that happens. And thank you, Janet, for being here and always being a cheerleader. I appreciate hearing about everything that's going on, and hopefully I will more than likely see you there. And the Teaway Park, I was out there also. And sorry I didn't see you, Franklin. I was out there too, which was nice. It was a beautiful day. And then I just have something that I just want to read, just having, and you'll kind of know what, after I read it, what it kind of pertains to. It's called The Kiss. She is pregnant. He had just saved her from a fire in her house, rescuing her by carrying her out of the house into her front yard, while he continued to fight the fire. When he finally got done putting the fire out, he sat down to catch his breath and rest. A photographer from the Charlotte, North Carolina newspaper noticed her in the distance, looking at the firemen. He saw her walking straight toward the firemen and wondered what she was going to do. As he raised his camera, she came up to the tired man who had saved her life and the lives of her unborn babies, and kissed him just as the photographer snapped this picture. And people say that animals are dumb. It was a dog that was pregnant that got saved from a fire that is all burned and came across to thank that fireman. So we know, just seeing all those animals here today, that animals are extremely smart, and I'm very thankful to have my new adopted one. So, thank you.
Very nice. Board member Peterson.
The amazing thing is that science is proving that trees think too. That trees, no, it's astounding that trees grow better if they're surrounded by a variety of other trees, that they actually commuite.
You have to talk to my husband and tell him why I talk to my plants. They grow better, and I talk to them, so.
So,
Oh, mine are so beautiful.
and yes, and for any of us who have animals, we know that animals are very intuitive. In the interest of getting to Jefferson Middle School open house, all I'm going to say is, again, thank you to all the work that's being done to get the school year kicked off to a good start. It's an enormous task. And I have to say, the work being done at Hawthorne and Whittier is exciting, and that what's fun, as well as being challenging, is that as we move into the work, it becomes clear what are the other things that are needed and what's going well, and but there's this real commitment to making it work. And I know that's true in all of our schools too. So thank you all.
Board member Garcia.
I don't have too much. I just want to say I really enjoyed talking with the young people outside in the foyer there. They're amazing. Just listening to what their lives are about and what they're thinking about, and as they explain their projects, gosh, that just looks so exciting. I was very pleased, and I think we could be very proud of those young ones. It was sweet. I talked to a young woman who's in the 9th grade and who wants to become a mechanical engineer, and her brother's an electrical engineer. It's just so interesting to have these conversations with these young ones, and gosh, to see how well they present themselves. I just was very struck by that and very pleased. I'm concerned about what's being said, what the parent said who came to talk about her school, and I appreciate you, Antonio, for meeting with her. I have not so good feelings about what may be happening. And I hope that we can continue to monitor that and try to make sure that there's more win-win between the parents and the teachers and staff and the administration. I appreciate and respect every board member here for your courage and your determination to say what you think and to listen. So I feel very, very lucky. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Garcia. Board Member Montoya Cordova.
First, I just want to say thanks to Janet and to Franklin for always coming out, your civic engagement, and just being part of the board, sharing news, talking to us. That's important, and I really appreciate when we have you come out, because you really are upstanding members of our community, and so thank you so much for doing that. And then I just want to say it was amazing. Last Friday, I had an opportunity to present to the Science and Technology Legislative Committee, and it was about science and technology and building a ready workforce. And so seeing the students out today was just amazing, because it was exactly what we were talking about. It was about, the importance of having opportunities for young people to engage in technology and in science projects that really gives them sort of an idea of what's going to happen with this skill, the things that they're developing, and what does that look like for them into the workforce. So I was great. I wish I could have taken them with me to Taos to present to the legislators, because I think it would have made a difference in terms of, instead of just talking about what's happening or what it looks like, but to actually see young students being prepared in that way. So that makes me proud, because it's something that our school district is making available for students to be able to engage in and demonstrate those skills. That drone technology was just mind-blowing. So that was pretty awesome. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Board Member Patterson.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet. I've known you for a long, long time, and it's always refreshing to hear from you. And thank you for coming in. And Franklin, thank you for your service to the community as well. I always look forward to hearing what you have to say, regardless of how it sounds. You put us, on notice sometimes, and that's good. Keeps us active. One of the things that I wanted to share is that Albuquerque is, we all know, Albuquerque is the largest city in New Mexico, and it's also the home of the largest district, the largest school district, APS, and home of the University of New Mexico, Lobos. And so the majority of our students actually graduate from UNM, attend and graduate from UNM. And so it makes sense that when the University of New Mexico reaches out to the district, as well as Representative Maestas, who's very active in the community, and asking us to wear red on Fridays. We are one community, one Albuquerque, and this makes sense that we all do this on Fridays. And I'm just asking the superintendent, I know that there was some information sent out. So I just think that it makes sense that we're all part of one community in this area. We share students, and it only makes sense that we were red. And so I just wanted to tell you that I'm wearing my cherry red. Here it is. All right. Okay.
She's not wearing them.
Yeah, but so I don't expect you to wear those shoes, but I will. But anyway, I think, and here's the scarf. I think this is I just think it's a great idea. It gives us a sense of community and bringing together. And it's one of our jewels is really the University of New Mexico. And so let's get together and let's do this on Fridays. I'm just asking you to do. And then one of the exciting things that we're doing, we have a new school in the Northwest Quadrant. It's Tres Volcanes Community Collaborative. And so on Friday, our community is so excited. They want to just run in the doors and look at the classrooms, talk to the teachers. And so what we're going to do is on Friday is the city councilor and other community leaders want to just do a walk through the school itself at 9 a.m. And, you know, anybody's invited, of course. And we're just going to meet with the principal and have her show us the greatness of our new school and APS. So I thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Board Member Patterson. And Board Member Armijo.
Well, I wish we could start every board meeting with dogs and kids. I think that would make things go so much better, so it was incredible. Thank you. And again, thank you for public comment this evening. We always appreciate that. And I know that our APS administration will follow up with Esperanza in reference to Adobe Acres, so thank you for that. I wanted to tell you about an upcoming event that's going to take place on September 14th at the Sheraton Uptown, and it's the NAACP Civil Rights and Diversity Conference. The topics that will be covered that day are immigration and human rights, women and social change, the clergy and the civil rights movement. In addition to those panels, which are open for discussion as well, it's a good opportunity to have dialogue. There will also be lunchtime. The keynote speakers will actually be our candidates, our congressional candidates. So Janice Arnold-Jones will be there, as well as Deborah Holland. So they will both have an opportunity to speak to the crowd during lunch. And then that evening, after the conference at 6 p.m., the gubernatorial candidates will be there. So Steve Pierce and Michelle Lujan Grisham will be there for a forum as well. So great event. I know that the superintendent was a panel guest a couple of years ago and spoke at the NAACP Civil Rights and Diversity Conference, so thank you for that. So I think it's the 4th annual conference, and it's in partnership with the city of Albuquerque. So if you have an opportunity, and maybe, Madeline, your first day last year at APS, perhaps you were at that event too. It seemed like your first week. So a great event. I also wanted to mention that we, many of us in this room, went to the Manzano High School grand opening of their gym and their facilities, and that was exciting. It was also open house that evening. So it was excited to see our elected officials out there as well. Tomorrow is Jackson Middle School's. A lot of us will be at Jackson Middle School tomorrow at 5:30 as well. And Bill and I have had the pleasure every day watching construction because we live right over the fence. So we had an exciting summer since last fall watching this take place, and it's been pretty exciting. So we look forward to walking over there tomorrow and being a part of the celebration and the cookies and lemonade at 5:30 tomorrow. A couple of other things that we have coming up in the community. I love what Candy said in reference to being a sense of our communities. We have our State Fair Parade coming up. And so let's participate in that, or at least cheer people on as they float on by. And
will they have candy?
Or walk on by?
Will there be candy or something?
Well, we could bring candy. And I've learned to do Tootsie Rolls from now on, and not, Jolly Ranchers when you throw them out the window. So that
it hurts. Expand on that? Hurts.
I know. What?
Can you expand on that? The reason?
Yeah, so I learned riding on the bus in the Pride Parade that we told ourselves next year we're going to throw out Tootsie Rolls because they don't bust when they hit the ground.
Oh, but they hurt.
Oh, I didn't think about that, but. And I just wanted to share one more thing with everybody, and it's kind of a feel-good, positive story that I've been meaning to share since summer graduation, and but I was reminded of it again last night. I had an opportunity to meet a Highland High School. She was kind of a junior, senior at the time in the dressing room at Target, and she was an Olympic boxer. I know I can strike up a conversation anywhere. So I struck up a conversation with her grandma in the Target dressing room. But she was an Olympic boxer at Highland High School, and her grandma was concerned because she was spending so much time training and being an Olympic boxer, and she wasn't real good about communicating that with her teachers and administration. So she really needed to be in a place that could accommodate her schedule in reference to being an Olympic boxer. So I worked with Pat Arguelles to get her into a different school and have a different kind of schedule, and kind of followed her and checked in with her every couple of months to see how she was doing. Well, it caught me off guard it caught me off guard so much that I cried when we stood on stage during summertime and shook the hands of our summer graduates because there she was, you know, like a year and a half later crossing the stage. And it was so exciting. And then last night I was reminded of it on her Facebook page. She, again, was trying out for the Olympic boxing team and was there. And, you know, there she was in front of the big Olympic sign. So it just gave me chills. And it was just such a feel-good moment to know that, you know, she's a graduate of APS and not in the non-traditional sense. And we helped her with a different route in reference to being non-traditional and graduated. And now she's gone on to realize those dreams of being in the Olympics. So it was just a special moment I wanted to share with everybody. So thanks again every single day for everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to the President's report, which is going to be short. I'll seventh the comments from all the board members. I think that's the proper seventh. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Franklin, for being here. Appreciate all the things you do. And I can tell you, my wife knows Janet a lot longer than probably any of you here, because she graduated with Janet in high school. They were the first graduating class in Del Norte, which is longer than I've known you, Janet, but I've known you for quite a while, too. Yeah, I've known you for quite a while, too. When you get old, you know, when you've been an adult a long time. I know that the board members know that we had a board retreat this last week or so, and I appreciate greatly all the comments and discussion, and I think we need to see if we can have more of those maybe in the future. And if you got any topics you'd really like to cover, I mean, even the one you brought up about the ESSA and all those things, let's talk about it, and let's see if we can have more discussions like that. I think we were pretty frank with each other most of the time, and I think, again, it was good to talk a little bit with each other. You know, I think that's always good. I think we, as a board, need to come up with some of our resolutions for the New Mexico School Board Association. So I need to work with probably Heather a little bit to do that and see if, you know, if you guys and board members have some ideas. I know Barbara brought up one about perhaps having a resolution on tell me again, Barbara.
Community school.
Thank you. I knew that's what it was. Community schools funding or something like that, because we're really working hard on our community schools, and we do have some funding, you know, from the city or you know, Bernalillo County Commission. We like that. That's good. But we're talking about more of a legislative funding and trying to help all of the districts in terms of this kind of a model. And we do have quite a few districts that are working on that, you know, Santa Fe, Las Cruces, and others. And so I think that's a reasonable kind of thing. We'll work a little, and maybe we can get that on the agenda for the next regular board meeting, because I know we're full on the policy and all that. So maybe 2 weeks from now, see if we can get some resolutions. I don't know what the deadline is. Do we have a deadline on that?
It's upon us.
It's October, I know. Yeah. Okay, good. So that'll work fine. Great. There were several, of course, grand openings. I missed the La Cueva one because my grandson was here. He takes priority. But the Manzano gym, I did get to that, and I hope to get to the Jackson one. I'm not quite as close to Jackson as board member Armijo, but it's always great to see what we're doing in our schools and what we're doing to try to improve them and all the capital stuff that we have. It's just fantastic. The Manzano gym was wonderful. Holy Toledo. It's a great gym, and the band was a little loud, as gyms are, but it was great. The cheerleaders are there. It was wonderful. And I greatly appreciate all the STEM stuff. Of course, that's, well, at least it used to be down my alley. And talking with all these people, and certainly the APS Education Foundation, all the support that they give us for that, as well as other things. I'm glad to see the Superintendent's Cup is visible again, although you gave it away. You know, I'm not sure what that means. But I think, again, this whole idea of experiential learning is so important to our kids, to really get experiences with building things, with doing stuff, with showing product, you know. That's so important to understanding how things work and how things don't work, you know. And so I think that's all part of this, you know, this idea of CTE and how does it fit within our concept of college and career and, you know, that kind of thing, or career and college, as I think I had mentioned before. So I think the things we're doing are great, and I think that's what we need to keep emphasizing. And these relationships, you know, we talked about the relationships, forging relationship with non-district organizations and so forth. Well, those are important things, you know. And working with Workforce Solutions, you know, not to put a plug in for, you know, for Yolanda, but those are all part of the deal, you know. And so, and that is part of our responsibility. See, when we go as board members, we can exercise what we think is our responsibility as a board to bring this to bear, right? And that's kind of the idea of what we were talking about, is how do we use our responsibilities in a good way? And so I think these are all really, really good things, and working with the community on these things, working with businesses with these things, the MERCOG stuff that we're part of. I mean, all these things are part of what make us, I think, leaders in the community. And so I think that's really, really important. So appreciate all the comments from the board members. Again, I'm always proud to be part of you guys. So thank you very much. And with that, we will go on to announcement of upcoming board meetings. The next board education meeting will be Wednesday, September 19th at 5 p.m. here. And the next special Board of Education meeting will Monday, September 24th in the DeLeo Martin Room. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Or do I have to walk out?
Night, Lorenzo. Enjoy your night.